we are here, there has been an uptick, an appalling uptick on attack on Christians, and over 80% of Christians are Dalits as well. 139,000 crimes against Dalits in just between 2018 and 2021, and 46% more incidents in 2019. Increase in registered rape cases and institutionalized routine hate speech has normalized rape and flogging and lynching of Muslims, Christians, Dalits and the Adivasis. And since BJP came to power, demolition trucks have been let loose, targeting homes and faith spaces of our minority groups, and we condemn that. Authorities have intensified efforts to silence civil society activists, human rights defenders and independent journalists by fabricating political criminal charges to jail and murder those on the side of what is right. The BJP government enforces restrictions on foreign funding regulations and harasses human rights groups. The UN Special Rapporteur on Minority Issues in 2022 reported the forced evictions, housing and property demolitions directed against Muslim minority communities in the past months. It is named as collective and arbitrary punishment against Muslim minority and low-income communities. UN reports that Dalits have been the target of choice for the poison of hate and violence propagated by social media platforms. The International Dalit Solidarity Network states that violence against Dalit women remains unreported and higher prevalence of gang rape against Dalit women. And we are all aware of the Hathras gang rape that happened in 2020, and those accusers are running free right now. They slit the tongue of that young girl in Hathras. But you know what? For every tongue that is slit, 1,000 more tongues will speak up that story. They cannot end the story with these gang rape victims. We will continue their legacy. We will speak the truth. And Mr. Modi holds the torch for Hindutva. Hindutva is a coercive state of mind that seeks a body host towards a concretization of hate by perpetrating fundamentalist views that some people are polluted and therefore their lives do not matter. And we will not take that anymore. Hating, murdering, raping a non-Hindutva Hindu, Muslims, Christians, tribals, Dalits, LGBTQI friends, transgender friends, women who speak, bold women, all of them are target of the sociality of hate cheered on as Dharma in Hindutva. Collective work is the need of the hour. That is what we represent today, and we are going to demand a public statement by President Biden's administration condemning the ritualization of genocide happening in India under the Indian Crime Minister's leadership. A government that does not stop the violence is the source of violence. We are here today reclaiming the rights of all those being massacred in India. We demand protection for women, children, Dalits, Muslims, Christians, tribals, non-Hindutva Hindus, human rights defenders, journalists, everybody who's speaking the truth. We want the right to live and to live peacefully. We demand that social, political and economic equality that Dr. Ambedkar fought for and inscribed in the Indian Constitution will rule. We stand on a single platform today to build that solidarity for a better world where the Hindutva lifestyle of hurt, hate and murder has no place. Thank you.
Powerful words from a powerful leader. So we're listening to these incredible voices of testimony, and the people who really need to be hearing them aren't here. Well, actually, I have a surprise for you, because our friends Joe and Naren actually did decide to stop by. Isn't that incredible? So Joe, come on over, Naren. I guess we're, as Americans, rolling out the red carpet for the Prime Minister, or as Roja said, the Prime Minister of India. The question is, have Joe Biden and Narendra Modi been listening to our words of pain and suffering and our demands for democracy and justice? That's the question. Joe and Narendra, why don't you come on up the red carpet, which has been rolled out for you. And if you see, there's two arrows here. I wonder which way each leader will go. Towards democracy, which is what we ardently hope, or towards the dark side. Maybe we can have some drumming for this moment of truth. Oh, that's a little close for comfort for me. Which way? Come on, you can do it. God is in every one of us, even Modi. Come on, you can do it. No justice, no peace. 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 No justice, no peace.
We support equality, not Hindu. We support equality,
Not Hindu supremacy.
we support. Come on, join us, you guys. We gotta save this situation. We support equality.
Not Hindu supremacy.
We support equality.
Not Hindu supremacy. Not Hindu supremacy. We support equality.
Not Hindu supremacy.
We support equality.
Not Hindu supremacy.
Okay, guys, you gotta make your minds up. What's it gonna be, Modi? Are you gonna listen to the prayers and the wishes and the demands of the poorest and the most oppressed of your country? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna do the right thing? Are you gonna vote for justice? Are you gonna save Indian democracy? Are you gonna shake hands with Joe Biden and both of you? Both of you. Make a pledge to be there for the poor of every nation. To respect media freedom. To not interfere in the judiciary. To not arrest people just because they spoke their view. To release Sanjeev Bhatt.
Yes!
And Umar Khalid.
Yes!
What do you say, Modi? Biden, ask him to. Demand it. You guys are silent. This is very frustrating. Okay, if you choose democracy, follow the correct arrows and make us so happy so we don't have to do another one of these protests. And I can retire my sign. What's it gonna be? No! Boo!
No!
Boo! Shame! Shame! So guys, that's the reality we live in. And so we gotta keep protesting. We've gotta cling to each other. We gotta not let go of each other, stand up for each other, not just for our own. And together we'll have to keep fighting.
Let's give them another round of applause.
I'm going up next.
Our next speaker will be Arjun Singh Sethi. He is a community... Arjun, fan club here today? Arjun is a community activist, civil rights lawyer, and author based in Washington, D.C. He is also an adjunct professor of law at Georgetown University Law Center and Vanderbilt University Law School. Arjun?
I'm here today to tell you that India is not the world's largest democracy. India is the world's largest authoritarian regime. Democracies don't discriminate against Muslims. The Citizenship Amendment Act, on its face, prioritizes Hindus and excludes Muslims and other minorities. The National Registry of Citizens has been celebrated as a census, but in fact it's just a mechanism to disenfranchise and strip Muslims, Dalits, and others of their citizenship. This should sound familiar. We saw the same thing happen to the Rohingya in Myanmar, and we know what happened next. I'm here to tell you that a democracy doesn't terrorize minority communities, LGBTQ communities, Muslim communities, Dalit communities. Lynchings are so common in India today that they are organized online and the videos uploaded for the world to see. I am here to tell you today that democracies don't wage war on the press. What if I told you that for the last 5 years, India has led the world in government-enforced shutdowns? They routinely arrest, incarcerate, charge journalists without process, without human and civil rights. Many continue to languish in prison today. Many of you have heard of the BBC documentary that was released just this year, which found that Modi was directly responsible for the 2002 Gujarat pogrom. How did the Indian government respond? They responded with censorship. They then raided the offices of BBC in New Delhi and Mumbai. And so I ask you this today. If the Indian government is willing to attack the British Broadcasting Corporation, imagine the plight of journalists and human rights defenders in India today. I'm here to tell you that a democracy doesn't provide impunity for criminals and human rights abusers. I'm speaking about a decade of enforced disappearances in Punjab, extrajudicial killings for generations in Kashmir, mass blindings of children in Kashmir, and impunity for Narendra Modi himself. Modi was banned from this country for more than 10 years. This White House decided that he was not fit to be on US soil. And I am here to tell you today that he should be banned again. He has no business being on US soil. And for those of you who think change is impossible, for those of you who think that a movement is elusive, I remind you of the farmers' protest. I remind you that 250 million people came together in India in solidarity with the farmers of India, and they won. And so can we. Thank you.
Thank you, Arjun. May we have many, many, many more wins. I now welcome another important fighter in our coalition, in our movement, Reverend Sarah Anderson, a Lutheran pastor from Philadelphia, to the stage. Reverend Sarah will share her experience of the continued discrimination, violence, and persecution against Christians in India. May there be no more Father Stan Swamis that we sacrifice to this hatred.
Thank you, Sunita. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for coming out this day so that we can stand shoulder to shoulder, showing our fellow countrymen, showing our friends that we stand in love for the country that is called India. What we once knew as a peace-loving, harmonious, multi-religious and multi-ethnic subcontinent has since 2014 seen the worst attacks on religious minorities. Christians in particular have been killed, threatened, injured, and put under severe stress for a simple reason of exercising their religious freedom. Can you imagine a time when you are required to provide 60-day notice to the government if you want to be converted? What kind of a nonsense is that in our 21st century? President Biden, we appreciate you, your team and staff, and all the steps that you have been taking to uphold human rights and defend democracy here in the US. We urge you to hold your Indian counterpart accountable to do the same. Human rights violation anytime and anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. Protect religious freedom in India. Warn Prime Minister Narendra Modi that his vision for one Hindu nation and his dream to unify India as a Hindutva is already a nightmare for Christians in India and those of us here and around the world. President Biden, do not underestimate the vicious power of Prime Minister Modi. He promises good to all, irrespective of religion, caste, or class. But indeed, he stands in glove with violence. He's stirring up religious conflicts through the anti-conversion laws. He encourages local governments and the police to target and to torture ordinary Christians who are going about their daily lives peacefully. Stop the burning of churches, killing of pastors and their congregations, violence against women, because of your vain fantasy, your daydreaming of a Hindu nation. Wake up, Mr. Modi. Wake up. Pitch your tent in the reality of our people who are dying because of all the atrocities. Stop burning. Stop burning churches in Manipur. Do not dial the clock of civilization and modernity back in India. Stop decimating churches and ethnic cleansing of minorities in India. President Biden, don't let friends drink and drive. And please know that there are leaders of democratic nations who are right now drunk and under the influence of curtailing religious freedom. Save our democracy. Save democracy in India. Save democracy from the hands of the Hindu nationalist parties and our Prime Minister, who is obsessed with anti-conversion laws. He is dividing our people, killing Christians, and threatening democracy in India. With all our struggles, with our spirits put together, our spirit to fight back, may democracy live long in India. Long live democracy. Long live India. God bless you. God bless America.
Thank you, Reverend Sarah. I have an announcement for everyone. There's an event that is open to the public. It's a briefing that has been called by Ilhan Omar, and all the elected officials and their staffers who are boycotting the joint session of Congress are gathering from 5 to 7, and we are all invited. The public is invited. It's in CBC 249 under the dome from 5 to 7, and I would get there early because of security from experience. I'll say that again before we finish, but everybody who's around should go for sure. Now I would like to introduce a very brave man, Niranjan Takle, investigative journalist, reporter from India. Niranjan will speak about the intensifying repression of media in India today. He is the award-winning Indian investigative journalist who broke the story of the murder of Indian judge Loya. He wrote a book about this, and that case implicated the BJP president, Amit Shah, who is now the Home Affairs Minister. And so you will be riveted by Niranjan's talk today.
Thank you, Sunita. I have worked in India as an investigative journalist for more than 25 years, and my last investigative story about the murder of a judge, Judge Loya, ended my career as a journalist. And actually, that's an example what is the situation of journalists under press freedom in India. The biggest story of 2017 ended my career. I'm here actually because I had heard that America upholds freedom of expression, America upholds democracy, America upholds liberty, America upholds secularism, and America is inviting the person who has downplayed all these values back home in India. Narendra Modi is known in India for the riots that happened in Gujarat 2002, and right now riots are happening there in Manipur for the last 1.5 months, more than 1.5 months. People are getting killed, people are getting displaced. It's an ethnic cleansing that is happening in Manipur. But the Prime Minister of India has chose not to utter a single word about it. I mean, we have seen examples. We have seen examples when a film actor meets with an accident or a film actress suffers because of cold or flu. Narendra Modi tweets about it. But people in Manipur are getting killed, they are getting displaced, ethnic cleansing is happening, but this man has not uttered a single word, neither has he tweeted about it. And this is the situation that is happening. And I'm a journalist. I firmly believe that it is my duty to tell the truth and shame the devil. And today is the situation that the leader of the largest autocratic nation is getting the state welcome. He's going to address the joint session of US Congress, and I mean, I'm just appalled that how can this happen? How can United States? I saw an actor working here a few hours before that he is taking Narendra Modi to the crossroads of autocracy and democracy. I mean, is Narendra Modi going to pull Biden to support his autocracy? This is a real question. In last 23 years, this man has not addressed a single press conference. In last 23 years, he does not feel that he is answerable to anybody. And we say that India is the largest democracy. This is not the democracy that my forefathers fought for and got the freedom. I mean, this is the book that I wrote about the murder of the judge. This judge was presiding over a case in which Amit Shah, the present day Home Minister of India, was the main accused. And 15 days after the judge's murder, the new judge presided over the case and discharged Amit Shah without verifying a single page of the 12,000 page long charge sheet, without verifying a single witness, without verifying a single call data record. There were 390 page long call data records. Nothing was verified, and simply he was discharged. And I mean, this government is anti-democracy. This government is anti-secularism. It completely downplays the diversity in India. They want uniformity to impose in India, whether it is of language, whether it is of religion, whether it is of culture. Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan is their slogan. And I just do not understand that when my constitution, the first sentence of my constitution says that India is a union of states, we have to respect that sentence, the diversity, the cultural diversity, the linguistic diversity, but nothing is honored by the Prime Minister of India. And it is really, I'm ashamed that such person is getting a state welcome, he's getting a state dinner. So I just don't know what is happening in India. I'm going to go back to India. We have to fight. I don't know what will happen after I return to India, but we have to fight for the democracy. We have to fight for the secularism. Somebody was asking me here that what keeps you going on. When I was brought up in a society which was fearless. I was brought up in a society which was secular, which was liberal, which was, we never considered about religions. And if I want my daughter to live in the same atmosphere, it is I who has to try for it. It is I who has to pay that price. It is I who has to sacrifice for upholding those values. And I can only assure that I'll keep doing that. I'll keep fighting for democracy. I'll keep fighting for secularism. I'll keep fighting for the diversity in India. I do respect that. Thank you very much.
You know, so many times when I speak to Indian Americans about my wish that they would speak up, do something, tweet something, support our organizations, something that everybody's very worried about is, will they be able to go back to India? Will they be trolled on the internet? Will something bad happen? All of you who are here, please remember the words you just heard from Niranjan Takle and Akashi Bhatt, and think about how much people are sacrificing so that the future of India can be a better and more harmonious and peaceful one than the one that people are suffering in today. Thank you, Niranjan Takle. So now, speaking of people suffering in India today, we have a speaker from the Manipuri community. And so I want to welcome Lien Gangte onto the stage. He's the Canada chapter president of the North American Manipur Tribal Association. He has many of his brothers and sisters here with him. Lien will speak to the horrific atrocities currently being committed against the kuki-zomi people in Manipur. And let me note that our Prime Minister of India, or as Roja said again, Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has not mentioned the word Manipur. He hasn't gone to Manipur. He would rather come here and do yoga in New York City. Lien.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is so beautiful to see all of your faces today. My name is Lien Gangte, and I represent NAMTA, North American Manipur Tribal Association. And I'm so proud to see everybody and all my kuki-zomi brothers and sisters here, and along with everybody else present. Thank you so much. On May 4th, a mob over 1,000 strong attacked my family home in Imphal, Manipur, in broad daylight. This home was in our family for over half a century, and it's now completely looted and burnt. Without getting into too much detail about my own family, I just want to say, even with that sort of a description, we're actually still one of the lucky ones. My dad sustained a head injury, but thankfully he's recovering. He's in his 80s. My brother, eldest brother's family, they basically just escaped with just what they had on their body, and they're just seeking shelter elsewhere, and that's the lucky ones. Since the 3rd of May, our state has been on fire. We have lost over 100 lives, over 6,100 homes burnt, looted, some burnt twice, including my own home again. More than 300 churches set ablaze, 115 villages torched in the periphery of the Imphal Valley. And even according to most conservative estimates, we have about over 41,000 internally displaced people. This is our situation. A 7-year-old boy, Tonsing Hamsing, was burnt alive with his mother and another woman accompanying him to the hospital. Domkohai Haukip, an elderly woman, was shot dead while praying in her village church in Kangpokpi district. Young tribal women were publicly raped and killed. Zamngai Kim Gamte, a young tribal woman, was witness to the lynching of her brother and mother as they were trying to flee the mob attack in Imphal. Even our elected members, Mr. Vungzakin Balte, a BJP cabinet member, nevertheless, viciously attacked. His driver was killed. He was beaten so badly, he has been paralyzed. Nobody is safe, whether you are a daily wage earner or the top of our kuki-zomi society. Nobody is safe. Internet blackout for the last 50 days since May 3rd. Please just calculate how many days that's been. Especially bad in the hill districts where we're not able to even figure out what's going on and have a counter narrative to any falsehoods that's coming out of the state government or from the Imphal Valley. No way of countering those claims. In all this chaos, the state government has been unable or unwilling to act and protect all its citizens equally. And because of that, they've lost any credibility of being a neutral arbiter. The kuki-zomi tribals have been systematically removed from the Imphal Valley in what appears to be a premeditated manner. This is ethnic cleansing, pure and simple. In all this, as speakers before me have mentioned, our Prime Minister is deafeningly silent. Can you guys hear me?
Yes!
Can you guys hear me?
Yes!
Why is the Prime Minister silent? Why is he silent? The kuki-zomi people in Manipur are barely 1 million strong, in a tiny state whose total population is only a fraction of Delhi's. So please think about that. Are we to be one of the forgotten casualties in the integrationist majoritarian drive that has encircled us? That is the question on my mind, and I'm sure on the minds of many of my brothers and sisters here. We demand that the Prime Minister break his silence and visit the state as the first step in bringing about some form of normalcy to this ongoing crisis. A direct rule by the center needs to be established because the intermediary ruling system through the state government has miserably failed. At this point, they are passing accountability from one to the other. We need direct central rule so we can know who is accountable and who is responsible for the suffering of our people. We call on every concerned individual to exercise their democratic rights by urging their elected representatives in the US and Canada to provide humanitarian aid, security through various UN bodies, including the peacekeeping force. This is our cry for help. And I'd like to just end by a simple chant that I've grown up even from the time I was a little baby. Inqilab! Inqilab!
Jindabad!
Inqilab!
Jindabad!
Thank you so much.
It's very moving to see the Manipuri community in America organizing. They were at the UN protest yesterday also. More power to them. Inqilab!
Jindabad!
So we are going to close our rally now. I'll once more remind you that there is a briefing in CVC 249 right under the dome from 5 to 7 p.m. and everybody is invited. It is a briefing being called by Ilhan Omar, and maybe some of all of these very important issues, including the situation in Manipur, the conversation can continue there. So now it just is left to me to thank all of our amazing rally speakers, to thank Parijat and Nezi, to thank everyone who worked tirelessly on making this rally possible. Believe me, it was months of work. And to all of you who voted with your feet to be here today and stand up for justice, and the few of you that actually used your feet to dance with Parijat. Please, please do not stop resisting hatred every single time you face it. Please do not stop resisting these far-right forces whose goal is to divide us. Please be brave in your families, in your communities, in your houses of worship, to raise difficult questions, have difficult conversations. That's the beginning of activism, to talk about it, to talk about the problem, to admit there's a problem and make your loved ones have that conversation with you. Please use every platform you have, whether it's a physical platform or online, to put pressure on Modi and Biden to protect India's democracy and human rights, and also to protect our democracy right here, as well as religious freedom and human rights. Another world is possible, and it's up to you and me to make it together. Thank you all so much. Inqilab!
Jindabad!
Inqilab!
Jindabad!
Inqilab!
Jindabad!
Let's have Parijat back to and Nezi to take us out on chants and drumming. Thank you all so much.
Hey everyone, we're almost finished. Please just come a little closer so we can build the energy. I just invite whoever is part of this protest to bring your bodies a little bit closer. Put down your phones, put down your signs, and come and join. We're gonna clap and chant. Okay, yeah. Tell that story later to your friend. Come join. Okay. So we're gonna do the one where we go stand up, fight back. Yes? So
No, I'm not. Yeah.
I say the line, you guys go. Stand up, fight back. So let's practice the first part. When Muslim people are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When Muslim people are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When kuki-zomi are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up,
Fight back.
stand up,
Fight back.
stand up,
Fight back.
stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
So we're going to do it again. Let me just ask whoever's still part of the protest to come forward. Thank you, yeah, come on in.
They're all calling us to come forward.
If we're going to get anywhere, we need to build power. So let's feel that power physically. And then just remember the last part, I'm going to go. And then you go, stand up, fight back. All right. Nezi, pull us in. When Muslim people are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When people are under attack, what do we do? When kuki-zomi are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Muslim people are under attack. What do we do? When Dalit people are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Immigrants are under attack. What do we do? When kuki-zomi are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Stand up. Stand up.
Fight back. Fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Alright, good job everyone.
Woo!
I just want you, if you are here, just to take a moment and take a breath. I'm going to do a quick land acknowledgement that we are here standing on the land of I'm just going to Piscataway, Pamunkey, and Anacostan indigenous peoples' land. And we give thanks to those people for stewarding those lands. We acknowledge the land itself that we are able to stand on and that holds our dancing. And we thank our ancestors as well, the ancestors of each of us, for paving the way. The blood ancestors, the intellectual ancestors, and the political ancestors for paving the way for us to be here. And we thank you all assembled for coming here to let your voices be heard. May the force be with us. JB.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
We shall overcome someday.
All deep in our hearts, we shall overcome someday. Again. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We
Shall overcome someday.
all deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। हाँ पूरा मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। Again, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। May peace prevail.
Gaurav was a great scholar, but the most humble person. This is my son.
Yes, absolutely.